Yo guys, welcome to The Last Lap. Don't forget to drop a lovely, juicy 5-star rating if you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Hope you enjoy, and let's get into it. Welcome back to The Last Lap, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be on your screens if you're watching on YouTube or in your ears if you're listening.
Sounds
Where can
crazy,
they listen to us?
Well, all good streaming platforms, the likes of Spotify, the likes of, I heard we're on Snapchat this week, and BBM. I heard we're on BBM this week, yeah.
That's a throwback.
So you can kind of catch us anywhere, basically, lads. We're jacks of all trade.
You know when you have like two tin cans and a bit of string?
Yeah, we're on there as well.
I feel like that's the next media we need to kind of conquer, bring it back.
Yeah, open your voicemail, we'll be there as well. We'll be
That's a bit ominous.
Podcast on your voicemail.
A
new message.
You have 15.
It's just split up into all the clips we upload on TikTok. But you can also catch us on.
You can. Oh, that's a good shout. TikTok's popping off at the minute. And silly season's behind us, but new season.
Livery season is here.
We're so close. We're filming this on the morning of the Tuesday before the Haas livery launch, and we thought we'd bring in we haven't had you on for a time.
I was on the first one, I think. I was on the original.
The OG.
The OG.
Original.
And I got the email, I got the text from someone like, do you want to come back? I was like, wow, I can't believe it. Can't believe they let me back up in
We
it.
allowed him back on. Yasha, Quickstop F1, mate.
Well,
how you been, man?
I'm good. Man, every time I come here, I'm like, wow, this is fancy. This is so fancy. For the people who are listening, just got this lovely studio in here. We've got racetracks behind us. What's that? That's Monaco, right?
Yeah, we've got Monaco there. We've got Silverstone.
And then Silverstone.
Knowledge.
So everything. See the knowledge.
We all.
But no, I'm really happy to be here. Actually excited for the new season now. Like, I think I was not excited. I was like quite happy to like ignore things. But I think the news cycle is starting to ramp up again. We've got the liveries / car launches coming up. Mohammed Ben Sulayem's acting
off. He's acting off.
I don't know what he's on.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's on. So yeah, everything is kind of culminating in the start of a new season. I can't wait now.
Yeah, it's great. We're getting the usual drama before the season's even started. It's great, man. You know, FIA versus F1 shenanigans. It's lovely.
Yeah, there's been some rumours. I was reading an article this morning. I think German media saying that F1 are pushing already for Mohammed Ben Sulayem to be replaced, which obviously he's in charge of the FIA.
Yeah,
the F1, but obviously F1, I guess, have some pressure that they can exert on that situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not been considering for particularly the last couple of seasons, the amount of eyeballs that's been on the FIA and Formula One from we should be focusing on the sport, on the racing cars, and so much of the focus has been off track. It's, MBS is walked into this job and there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on. Do we think he will make it? Do we think he's going to still be in this job this time in, I don't know, a year?
To do another drunk
Because it's a 4-year tenure you get when you're elected by the FIA to lead. Do we think he'll still be there?
Honestly, so before, I'll give you a little story. Before the World Cup started, Netflix released the FIFA documentary, and it's, for anyone who hasn't watched it, it's really good, whether you're into football or not. Just about how corrupt and powerful the FIFA are, and the similarities with the FIA were incredible. I was like, I just cannot wait for someone to whistleblow this whole organisation. And he kind of reminds me of Sepp Blatter in that I think he's going to stay for the next 2 or 3 years. And because I just don't think, unless within the FIA they move to remove him, then I don't think he's going anywhere. And I think he's keeping enough people within the FIA happy. I think that relationship between F1 and the FIA is always going to be fractious, but for F1 to break away and do their own series, at this moment in time, they're trying to sell the series. So I don't think they can sell it as a product without the FIA. So they need the FIA as much as F1 needs, the FIA needs F1. So it's a toxic relationship. I don't, as much as I would like to see a change in the head of the FIA, I don't think it's I don't think it's going to happen. And I think when you see stories like that, it's like, transfer news. You know, when like agents leak stuff to the press, like, we're Arsenal after this player. I'm like, well, they're not.
They're not. They just want to see how the public reacts or get other people involved.
Yeah, it's all
or,
PR. It's all a smoke and mirrors. But I think it's an interesting backdrop to the rest of the season because, sure as poo, the FIA are going to mess up again. I'm trying my best not to swear.
That you can swear as you like.
Oh, cool. Sure as shit, they're going to fuck.
Jean Todt kind of reminded me of the Sepp Blatter character. That's probably inflammatory, actually, because he was corrupt. So allegedly, but...
I mean, even like Max Mosley, you go back, far enough that there's plenty of there's examples of, I think whoever's been in charge of the FIA, the idea is, go on.
We could do the documentary, bro.
Do you reckon?
Let's just find a source in that FIA,
We've got the
we will
facilities here.
whistleblow.
We
We'll
really
whistleblow.
you know what? I could just be a fake whistleblower. I'll just be like, I used to work there. We were shredding documents after AD21. Like, it's fine. Who needs to fact check?
Just have a 1 second overlay. This is all work of fiction.
Yeah. Not based on a true story.
No, not at all. But that's the thing. Yeah, I think whoever's been in charge of the FIA, they've always kind of, whether it's out of their own choice or just because of the job, has had to be quite public facing and front forward. But it's been I guess ultimately it's given us something to talk about as well, all of the infight in between F1 and the FIA. We've talked on the show before about the idea of the F1 diverging from the FIA, but ultimately the FIA own F1, they're just leasing it out to Liberty Media to run, so they would have to go off and go full Super League, which would be what would they call it? Well, what are we going to say the alternative?
God,
it depends. Like if they're like
one formula, one race. I don't know. But yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like if like they're American, it'll be like the Super World Motorsport Championship. Like I don't know, something along those lines. It would be something like so bombastic and so incredible. But I mean, look, the thing is with the FIA, like they've been sticking. Well, Mohammed's been sticking his foot in his mouth for the best part of a year now. Like you can probably count. You've got the jewelry gate. You've got this stuff coming out, that he used to, like he said in the past about women. You've got the FIA gagging orders on protests. Like, I actually haven't seen one positive news story about this guy since he came in. So it will be tough for, like, again, in terms of their relationship. Like, it really does feel like, I think this is just something we're going to have to get used to. He's completely different to Jean Todt. He's very much, he wants to be media facing. He wants to, I guess, make his mark, put a stamp on these things. But, it's pretty much at odds with the way Formula One's going. Look at Formula One now. We've got younger audiences. We've got more politically active audiences. We've got more diverse audiences. And it feels like the FIA at the moment are kind of at odds with that.
Yeah. Well, actually, because there's been Valtteri, even Helmut Marko as well. Both have been quoted, kind of not happy with this FIA, which is beyond Formula One. The whole stance around drivers need pre-approval on any personal or political statements, but then what do you define as personal or political? Blah blah blah. Like,
what do you pre-approve? What do you approve and not approve?
That's what I mean. Because it's almost like the way I see it is that by taking a stance, it kind of forces the FIA to actually, that they're almost shooting themselves in the foot. Because if they actually want to truly be neutral, they should just let the drivers kind of do what they want to do and say what they want to say.
Because then they don't have to take any responsibility as well. They can just go, it's the drivers. But the fact that they're actively being like, we're going to filter through.
Because say you're two drivers and I'm the FIA and I'm like, well, you can say your thing, but you can't say your thing. But then I'm taking a stance ultimately.
Yeah, it really is. It's just open. Again, the thing is, it could be so simple. They could just welcome these things and let people do that and, have the publicity. And in all honesty, it's almost like the FIA, want to be front and center in front of Formula One, when really the FIA are supposed to be like a governing body, kind of like FIFA. Like when people think of the World Cup, yes, it says the FIFA World Cup, but you think of the teams, you think of the players, and that's how the FIA should be. But it's almost like they want to make all the headlines, they want to control the drivers, they want to. They want to think about the brand, but the brand Formula One has grown exponentially since 2016, since Liberty took over. The audiences are bigger than they've ever been. They're making more money than they've ever made. I don't understand how any of this is detrimental to the FIA's branding or image, other than them probably disagreeing with the political stances that are being taken, and then, like you say, that is in effect taking a political stance.
Yeah, because you say that about the sport growing. I think Forbes, they were saying that. So Liberty, I believe they bought F1 for about 4.5 billion. Forbes have said, and I don't know whether this is based off that kind of the potential Saudi like looking to buy for 20 billion, but Forbes have said it's about 17 billion. So that's already like a 4x.
4x,
yeah. 4-ish times
on their, like, the sport has grown.
Investment.
Yeah, which given where the sport was in 2017 and how much more wide commercially appealing it is now, those numbers don't massively surprise me. Like that sounds about right to me.
You have to remember where the sport has come from. We couldn't even get highlights on YouTube.
No,
in the Bernie
literally,
era. Like, you know, it was literally.
It was like 2017 they started doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate,
right?
when I'm researching videos, like I'm glad I've got like F1 TV now, because I can't find highlights, like proper highlights of any videos of any races pre 2017.
Yeah, it's impossible.
They're not on YouTube.
So it's almost like the sport, from where they took it over, it could only have gone up with the social media. And, you know, Drive to Survive seems to have, like, obviously been an incredible thing for them. But it can only get bigger. We talk all the time, right? Look at us now. Like, something like this would have been impossible to imagine 4 or 5 years ago, even 2-3 years ago. It would have been impossible to imagine the breadth of content creators out there and the level of content creation. You have to remember, like, football content creation has been happening for like 10 years.
It's pretty much the start, really, to be honest.
Right? Yeah. Whereas F1, independent content creation and that building of communities and social media is only really happening now. And that's the stuff that, along with, you know, the marketing and everything, is driving people to races, because they want to feel the stuff that they listen to every day and they watch every day. They want to go and they want to experience it. And Formula One's only going to go up. So 17 billion now. Like, imagine what that's potentially going to be.
And maybe that's why the FIA are trying to kind of flex their muscles and take control, because they want to be top of that pyramid. Like, if the sport, like 3Xs in the next 10 years.
Because we were obviously talking about when we were mentioning super license points and stuff, and how the FIA is so protective over their own series. You know, imagine if the F1 would, if the F1 brigade were just like, we're just doing the Super League, lads. We are going to do the Super Mega Motorsport World Championships. Get me? And
I mean, I'd watch it.
I would watch it, man. There's at least 7 Grand Prix in America.
The thing is, unlike the Super League, because that was taking, you know, football institutions, clubs that are parts of their community, and, you know, pushing the commercial stuff to a whole new level. These are Formula One teams. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not attached to any of these teams. Like, they're just money-making enterprises.
Exactly, and there's not that geographical connection as well.
I'm here for motorsport first and foremost.
The problem with the Super League aspect was you were going to get games between, like, PSG and Arsenal happening in Qatar. It just doesn't make sense. Like, but the reality is, you know, the races would probably be, you know, somewhat different. There'd be some tracks where, you know, they wouldn't be able, but whatever. The teams don't have that geographical connection, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what governing body they run under. So that's less of a problem.
And that's the thing, right? It's at the moment it's a marriage of convenience at the moment,
Absolutely.
isn't it? But it is becoming increasingly inconvenient, and I think Liberty probably look at the FIA and the fumbles that the FIA do, you know, whether it's with the stewarding or whether it's with, you know, the media or whatever, and it almost reflects badly on the product of F1 itself. So they're like, why don't we just control the whole product? And then, you know, if anything goes on, then at least we'll deal with it. But I just think, I guess it'll be interesting to see. This isn't the last, you know,
absolutely
of any of this. We're going to be here probably in a couple of, testing 100%. Starts in a few weeks. So we'll be here probably by the time testing starts. I'm sure at least 2 different things.
2 different things. two more stories.
Would have come out. So nice. Interesting nevertheless.
Well, we've got testing coming up soon. Yeah. It's livery reveals and car reveals that we've got before that. Tommo, I'm excited.
Well, by the time this pod comes out, we'll have all seen the Haas.
I won't have done.
You want? Why not?
I'm blocked by Haas on Twitter. So I won't see a car.
You were blocked by Haas on Twitter.
Yeah.
Why? What did you do?
Why are you
so I'll paint a picture here. So back in the times of a young Nikita Mazepin.
Oh.
When that was announced, when that whole shebang was going on, that whole ordeal.
Yeah.
Basically, I decided that I was not happy with that decision.
Fair.
So I replied to Haas, I believe, telling him to suck his nan. I believe that may have been what happened, I think. Now,
is that what you recall?
I recall. I may be paraphrasing.
Screenshot. Does the tweet still exist?
It definitely does. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The tweet definitely still
So
exists.
if I search Nan on Niran,
At the official, at my and then
Your
just
Nan,
Nan,
okay.
it will probably come up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Oh, wow.
now this then somehow took some traction, and I ended up ratioing Haas on their
Oh, it's a quote
announcement
tweet as well.
Oh,
I think
wow.
of
Well played,
him.
mate.
And it was telling him to suck his nan. So then I was like, then they tweeted about him and they kept tweeting about him, and I was like, lads, come on, like read the room.
Yeah.
So I did it like a second time, and it ratioed them again.
Yeah.
And then I did it third time. That was the last time I was going to do it, but that was because someone told me to do it.
Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, no, this can't run. So they blocked me.
Was there
because I
any
kept
other
ratioing them.
texts, pictures, videos, gifs? Or was it just literally?
There was no media content. I think it was just varying ways in which he could suck his nan. Not he could, but
Right.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think apparently, Well, I don't think the admin likes me. I think he thought I was atting him, but it wasn't actually at him. It was at Mazepin. So I think
Time heals wounds. So release our
me.
brother in arms.
Release me.
Come on.
Free me.
Yeah,
free Niran.
Bang down your doors.
I just want to see content again.
Well, so
I
you're
don't
not
really,
allowed.
to be
It's
honest.
kind of like, have you seen that Black Mirror episode when people get like they have like chips in their heads and then they can get switched so that everything they see is a blur.
Yeah.
So basically, when we can see pictures of the hash, you
Yeah.
can't. It'll just be pixelated through your perspective.
It's just white. But then, to be honest, that's probably what it'll look like anyway.
Would it? Because
Wow.
they've had black with the rich energy. They've had grey early days. They've had white as well. So
Going
what
all
are we
the way through the
expecting?
colour palette.
Yeah.
I am not gonna lie to you. Can care less.
I think it would look a bit like your t-shirt, actually.
I think
White with a bit of
I
red.
think it will. But I think
Team LH on it as well.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton,
I hope
shock
so.
move to Haas.
I think the Haas. I actually think it would be. I don't think it's going to be a massive deviation. I'm not, but also, who have they got driving for them? They've got Hulkenberg and oh my god, K-Mag. Sorry,
Oh, it's going to stink.
blanked.
The car's going to look
I guess
stinky.
They still got 1-1 as their main
No.
sponsor. So it's
So they literally
that
took them
went
off the
with me.
website last night.
ah.
So 1-1's quite a few of them have gone, but 1-1 and Under Armour were both Mick Schumacher.
Yeah, they've gone now, right? So that was
Have there been any other, any added?
what state is the state's colours like blue and yellow?
What
The brand colours.
for Haas?
Oh no, who's Haas's sponsor then?
Well, so their main one's MoneyGram now.
Oh, MoneyGram.
That's the big new sponsor,
stinks.
which is black and red. So it's going to be
Yeah.
white, black, red in
red.
some kind
There'll
of.
be some kind of black running through it somewhere.
I think a base black would
Do you
be
reckon?
nice.
Just bring back
love to
the
see
rich energy times, man. At least they were entertaining. Do you know what I'm saying? At least there was like something enjoyable going on.
It's true.
It wasn't
Ever
just
something
a
to talk
car that
about.
had Haas on the side, and that was literally it. I swear the car. I don't honestly remember a single sponsor being on the car last year. It's probably because I couldn't see it on Twitter, but I don't remember there being a single.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, you're gonna say-
That makes
Even
sense
on
now.
track, I couldn't see the car. It was pixelated for me on my screen, on my phone.
They literally blocked you, like blocked your IP,
was
blocked your
deeply
telephone
hurt.
signal. Like not having that at all.
One day I'll get out of Twitch. But yeah, no,
was fuming.
I just wanted to. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you reckon that came from Gunter? Do you reckon he was like, this needs to stop?
He
Like,
okayed
it got
that.
up to Gunter.
It's making us look
I
like
was
a
like, hang
bunch
on, Gunter's been on his phone. We've been triple ratioed by
Yeah.
this guy.
By suck your nan.
Yeah.
It can't get much worse than that.
Oh man.
But talking of liveries as well, we had a little bit of a surprise, but it's not. I think it's kind of seemed quite tactical for me to maybe take some of today's hype away from Haas
Yeah.
towards Alfa Romeo,
Okay.
because they have a new title sponsor and they've put out this art livery, which I think it looks like alphabetic spaghetti.
Yeah.
Personally.
I really hear that actually, yeah. That was, I mean, to be fair, alphabet spaghetti is kind of cold, but I don't know about I don't know about it on a Formula 1 car.
Spaghetti.
That, Alphabet.
Yeah.
That's really good.
To be fair, I tweeted that, and then someone replied that to it, and I was like, "Fuck, that was so good." You know when and I was just like, "That was such a missed opportunity."
I actually quite liked it. You two were like, "We hate it," and I was like,
"It's just an art."
No, to be fair, the sentiment seemed actually quite positive for it. But yeah, it's an art livery. It's just
so when they say art livery, is that just?
It's to show off their new
piece of art, but we're not. Actually...
They might use it during testing, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, sure. I think primarily, because sometimes Alpha have done that. Haven't they? They last year they had that camo
livery.
So actually, that's a good point. Maybe testing we might see that on track, but I think it was.
I don't mind it. It's just it says crypto in alphabetic spaghetti on the front wing. So I feel about that.
Because a lot of teams have dropped crypto endorsements, but.
Just written it on the car.
I mean,
I'm not leaving.
I'm still here. Well, my understanding, obviously, they've got a new title sponsor, Alfa Romeo, replacing Orlen, who have gone to Alpha Tauri, which is quite interesting.
I can see that,
So maybe Kubica.
The Alphas.
Kubica reserve driver at some point. It must be.
Maybe, but with now Stake have taken over at Alfa Romeo, and they're like kind of an online gambling, but kind of crypto as well. I mean, they actually there was no NDA that they reached out to me to be like a sponsor or to be involved with the launch in some way, and I was like not interested because they're the whole when Drake's dropping.
I was going to say, but Drake could be there. You could be.
Is that really Drake's money?
No, it's not. But they could bring him through, and then you could be like, "Hi, I met Drake. I am F1 certified lover boy."
Imagine F1 certified lover boy. Certified driver boy, even. There we go. Fucking hell. Imagine seeing Drake in an F1 garage and Alfa Romeo.
That might happen. Him and
maybe.
Joe.
Yeah. They're throwing a lot of money around.
They are. I guess, like, more seriously, the thing is, we can never really... F1 is always going to be about money, right? F1 was tobacco sponsorships back in the day. And, I'm surprised that there's not more gambling, like big gambling sponsorships, the way that you see like Bet365 and football and so on. Maybe F1 isn't like a massive gambling market, but I guess there's untapped potential. I'm not encouraging it, but I just, it is weird. But the thing about F1 is, especially now, it's a much younger audience than football. Like, especially I'm looking at the demographics on my videos. I'm looking at the demographics that they're saying are coming into the sport. You look at the demographics, even just on Twitter, I stopped arguing with people. I'm like, you're literally 12. Like, I can't.
It's not even an insult. They are genuinely.
You're genuinely 12 years old. Like, bless you. Like, you're so sweet. So, it's almost. I guess I'll put that to you. Is there like a moral question about bringing something like gambling into a main sponsor when you're going to have kids who are going to be influenced, or young people with some disposable income? Are they going to get involved? Are they going to? It's a slippery slope. I
think typically not even just F1. I mean, F1 I think has always had a particularly uneasy relationship with the morality of its sponsors. But you look at football is full of gambling sponsors.
I think there's a stat now like literally 50% of the clubs in the Premier League their shirt sponsor is a gambling company.
Yeah.
If you don't know what the sponsor is on a shirt, it's a gambling company from like
it's probably
Hong Kong or something.
Exactly.
It doesn't really exist.
And that's it. So then it comes down to the whole kind of, there is certainly nuance in that, because like for me, fundamentally, I don't have, like, you could say the same about alcohol. Anything that can be a vice can be seen in a in a negative way, but also in terms of free will. If people want to do what they want to do, there's always kind of a bit of an
everything in moderation, right? Like as long as you do everything in moderation, it's fine. If you drink in moderation, if you gamble in moderation, it's fine, right? And obviously, moderation is relative to whoever does it. But it's almost like trying to have a go at one section of sponsorship is almost like a bit hypocritical. And like you say, like there's gambling, you
Yes.
can't be mad at gambling when there's crypto. You can't really, you know, can I be mad at crypto when there's alcohol?
Big oil and
like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because where does it stop? Do you know
Where
what I
does
mean?
it- where does it
It's
stop?
kind of- it's kind of tough
But
to draw the
I think
line.
everyone's got to have their own individual, like, there's certain things, say you've got a particularly sensitive relationship with, like, you know, alcohol abuse, for example, then you're going to be more sensitive to seeing alcohol sponsorship,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah.
And that can go for it. So I think it's one of them things that everyone's entitled to have their own perspective on it.
But it's just hard to police.
Yeah, and yeah, it's very hard to police.
I think it's completely valid to have that sort of concern of like, we don't want to see a cryptocurrency necessarily on every single car or gambling sponsors on every single car, but like, where do you draw the line? Like, it really does, like, I can guarantee a lot of people that go, well, I don't want to see cryptocurrencies or crypto companies on cars. Also loved seeing a Marlboro livery or a Ferrari.
Yeah. Bring back the Marlboro livery.
Like, it's kind of hard. It's, you know, I don't know. It's a hard one to morally judge.
Yeah, for sure. Because again, like, in terms of sponsorships, that I'm just trying to think of.
Just get Oxfam on every car and just call it a day.
I'm just trying to think, like, of mainline team sponsors, are there any that are completely squeaky clean? That I like. I'm just trying to.
Patronus's oil again is like.
Yeah. Like there's none really coming to mind.
Yeah,
Apart from the companies that
Red
I guess
Bull,
supply.
if you're above the age of 16.
Yeah.
And you don't get ID'd.
But even then, people.
I got ID'd once for getting
Did
Red
you?
Bull, and I was like, nah, this can't.
Really?
Yeah, and I had a beard. I was like, come on, lads.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, completely unrelated, but I just got pissed off about it. Like I got
Great sound.
I got
Right, brought you
ID
back.
for Bucks Fizz on Christmas Eve last Christmas.
Bucks Fizz.
And it really ruined my Christmas because I was like, bruv, I'm in my 30s. Like, I just want a little Christmas orange and Prosecco on Christmas Day. And she was like, I need to see your ID. I was like, you lady have ruined Christmas.
Yeah.
And
ID on Christmas Eve should be illegal. It should be anything goes.
like, do you know what I mean? I'm not,
That's probably a terrible piece of advice, but it's Christmas, man. Come on, everyone's
I'm not
drinking.
like. I also, you know, I'm just like insulted that you think I'm gonna go take this and drink it on a park bench. Like, you know, I'm underage. I'm gonna take this Bucks Fizz. I'm just gonna neck it and then.
I love this.
With a WKD as well.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's just insulting.
I can see this in Niran Yash, like Secretary of Culture.
Yeah,
Joint position here.
Sort us out, government.
Do you know, like when they used to have like free travel on Christmas, New Year's Eve in London? I'm like, no IDs, Christmas
free
Eve.
drink,
Free drink, whatever you want, just ransack the place. I'm joking. Anyway, back to Formula One. Sorry, I just had to get that out. I've been keeping it in for a year.
Sponsored by Bucks Fizz.
Yeah, sponsored by Bucks Fizz. Look, if you don't have Bucks Fizz on your Christmas
Again, we can put it
morning,
down here.
yeah.
I love a Bucks Fizz.
Look,
It's good.
Who
Decent.
doesn't?
It
Well, I
doesn't.
can imagine a lot.
You're lying to yourself.
That lady who sold it.
Yeah. That lady I was on to, clearly not a Bucks Fizz enjoyer.
But as we were talking about anyway, as we were talking about Alfa Romeo, also it's been announced that Audi have officially now purchased I believe it's 25% stake in that team.
They're sponsored.
This guy.
See, that's
This guy. That's why.
That's what it
This
was.
guy.
That's why they signed the deal, and then
It all makes sense.
all
now.
makes
Comes
sense.
together. But no, I don't think we'll be. I did kind of joke that they could just, you know, I'm sure Alfa Romeo wouldn't like the Audi sticker to be like alongside it. Maybe they can sneak in a little one. But it is part of the process has started now. They've got their new team. Well,
Represented.
there's not team principal. He looks like a quality architect, so I would trust him with
things,
my.
right.
So decidal, to be fair.
they kind of all do. A lot of them. Yeah, I hear that.
That screams efficiency to
Yeah,
me.
it is.
But he's been at the team for a while. I think he used to be team principal at Trident, I believe. So there's a lot going on at that team. There's a lot to be. Yeah, that's a team. The Sauber's been a team that's, in terms of a team that I've just had very little opinion on, that have just kind of blended into the shadows, not had a strong or negative opinion on it. It's been Sauber, but there's so much going on there now. I think it seems like a really exciting kind of team to be at.
Yeah.
It's one of those, isn't it? I guess it's almost in the same way when I guess we're gonna have the same feeling as when I guess Aston Martin came into the sport, and we're looking at like prestigious car manufacturers taking over. It is exciting. I guess, we'll see. I don't want to get my hopes up. I thought like Aston Martin, that's going to be like, give it 2 or 3 seasons, they'll be doing really well. And that's been disappointing. And I just think it's very hard for new teams to come into the sport and make an impact on the sport.
Even big OEMs. Like, look at Honda back in like 2008, like when they pulled the plug, they'd spent billions.
Not much.
And the cost cap obviously is meant to help if you respect it. And like, and I just think, hopefully that helps, and hopefully that helps bring the grid together. But for me, I don't know. I think I'm one of those where I'm not gonna hold my breath on any new teams coming in. Even if it ever happens with Andretti Cadillac, it's really hard. Formula One is a hard sport, but I really hope that someone does come in and upsets the natural order of things.
I do kind of have faith in Audi. To be fair, you're right. It is tough. You can't just come out of nowhere and succeed straight off the bat, but Sauber obviously got the facilities, so that's already like a good baseline for a team like Audi to come in with, and they have had like success in other motorsport categories as well. Like they slapped Le Mans for like fucking 10 years back to back, I swear. They still do. Are they still in Le Mans these days? I feel like they've pulled out like 2 years ago. So.
They're not anymore, but I guess they're consolidating, shifting.
Yeah, exactly. But as a company, and again, that sweet German efficiency.
well, the thing is, Sauber have had this amazing facility for so long. There's always been this talk of this amazing Sauber wind tunnel, and they've struggled financially since BMW pulled out.
Yeah.
But now they've got that money. So it's like they can realise that potential. They've always been like they've had so much potential, but they've just kind of sat there in mediocrity and
just waiting for someone to give them some cash.
Yeah, I mean their finishing position last year was their highest for like years.
Yeah,
I remember research. It was ridiculous that they didn't finish higher than, don't quote me on this, like 7th or 8th for like about 7 or 8 seasons in a row. It was like again, considering you had Haas coming out of nowhere, like inherit the Marussia stuff and then out. I'd say outperform them, or at least match them over, apart from the odd season in like recent years.
They've been better than them most seasons, really. It's just the last 2, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what Haas's second season when they came in, they finished like 5th or something.
Yeah.
So it can be done. That's what would be nice to see from an Andretti Cadillac, to show that actually, no, you don't have to inherit a team, or you don't have to go to Motorsport Valley. You can be an outsider, come in. Although, actually, Andretti are saying that they want to have their engineering based in the UK. So
it's home of F1 engineering, and I guess some people sometimes say that about Ferrari, in that because they have a smaller pool and a less attractive, because I'd rather live in Italy than the UK anyway. But
Maranello or Luton.
Yeah, right. Like, have you been to Milton Keynes? No, respectfully. But they've got a smaller pool to choose from in terms of engineers who are able to specialize in F1. And if you are a team that is outside of that recruitment pool, it's very difficult to get the best talent, and or you have to develop your own talent, but that takes time as well. So it's difficult for teams to do that. So it'll be interesting to see with Audi, pardon me, with Audi, Andretti, any new teams that come in. But I guess the good thing about Audi is that process is starting now. They're not just coming in 2026. That process is starting now, and they're getting all this data, and they're going to be able to make all these investments and improvements so that they're hopefully hitting the ground running.
Doing it in a sensible way.
Sensible manner.
Let's buy this team, boom, let's go straight.
Yeah, but that does not work.
There's another OEM actually, which by the time we do the next podcast, we should know whether this is fact or fiction. But Ford,
what's going on here?
The rumours have been ramping up.
I did see that.
So I'm sure. I think you follow Vincenzo.
I do.
On Twitter. Vincenzo Landini. He was talking about how apparently a bunch of Ford have contacted a bunch of influencers to go to the New York Red Bull event. Apparently, allegedly, we'll see. But also, there's a Dutch journalist, can't remember his name, who I saw yesterday was tweeting about it's imminent that they're going to announce Ford x Red Bull. So basically, Ford come in and steal Porsche's. Well, Porsche kind of bottled it because they wanted too much control. Yeah. But it seems like they've come up with some kind of collaboration, which actually, if you go back to, I think it was, I posted it this morning, it's mid-90s, mid-late 90s, you had Red Bull and Ford on a Sauber. Oh. That's quite weird. So they have worked together in the past.
Tables. Yeah.
So, I mean, how does that work? Obviously, so I guess in terms of like Red Bull powertrains and but is it just like Ford logo and marketing?
I imagine so. You remember when Red Bull had like Infinity, didn't they? And like that, I think it would be maybe a similar thing to that. They badge the engines as Red Bull as Ford engines,
but it's actually produced.
But they're not. Yeah.
Okay, almost
it's a scam.
Yeah, because didn't they tag the Renault engines for a season as well?
Yeah,
Tag Heuer.
Yeah.
What do they do? What did Tag Heuer do again?
Watches.
I got one.
Yeah.
Mad thing.
This was my wedding present from my beautiful wife. Thank you, Anna.
I was like, oh, you get gifted that by his.
Nah, I
was like, the sponsors are crazy.
Well, I slapped sponsored by a Tag Heuer.
To be fair, actually, though, like obviously you can't say names, but we got approached by potential teams as well. So it feels as if that it is happening. I think they said they wanted potentially at least two teams. So I think, and it just shows the size of the sport that we are in an age where it's looking like people are going to get return on investment. Whereas before,
100%.
you would be sinking money into investments. Maybe the car that you invest in, if it's rubbish and you don't see it on TV, no one's going to see it anywhere. Whereas now, like we were saying earlier with social media, you've got all of these places where people will see your sponsorship, the events that you can do with your drivers and so forth. So, really exciting time for F1.
It's wild in terms of just like brands, isn't it? In terms of like, Ford, if you had Andretti coming in, you'd have Cadillac. We've obviously got Renault, Ferrari.
There will be a fourth American race, 100%.
Yeah.
Like if Ford come in, Cadillac come in, Andretti, like they have to do another race in America. Because I mean, look, even when I was doing like our merch orders, 75% of our merchandise gets sold to America. It is an insatiable market for all things F1. So it would not surprise me if those things happen that we see another race in America, which I'm all for.
If you were to hold an extra race in America, where would it be?
Indianapolis, 100%. Then you've got the flashy Miami track. You've got the even more flashy
Las Vegas,
and then you've got proper Indianapolis.
Yeah. You got the oval little bank in there,
and then proper, and then Austin's kind of a new but also proper
proper racetrack.
Racetrack.
I think that's a good balance.
I'm trying to think if we're, you know what? Just to say something different, I would love a race in like New York City. Like if they obviously impossible, but they're
shutting the strip down. So
it's the thing, So I feel like but they used to tease like we could have a London City race. And,
I
don't
the amount of times that got proposed.
Yeah,
Jesus
how annoyed would everyone be if there was a race in the middle of the city? Cannot get anywhere. There's strikes already. We would not survive with the race in the city.
That would be done.
No, oh my god.
Tube strikes and the Formula One at the same time. You must be sick.
You are walking from North to South London that day, and you're walking on the North Circular. Look, for me, I'm all for it. I'm all for the expansion of the sport. I know people in Europe think like, why does America deserve more than one race? But America is top.
It's a continent, basically.
It's a continent.
It is wow.
It's so big. The distance between Vegas, Miami, Kota, they are considerable distances, and to add another one, still it would be, it's still closer than like going from Catalonia to Manicourt or
of course,
like the French race and so forth. So you just got to think of it like that.
Yeah, definitely. The sport's kind of, as it becomes less European centric, as well. It'd be interesting to see how
Laguna Seca.
I mean, was going to say Laguna Seca, but like
I'm so sad because when I went to the States last year, I literally drove like past Laguna Seca. I didn't even know it was there. I'm so sad. When I looked at maps after, I was like, oh my God, I just drove past Laguna Seca. I had no idea.
I really wanted to go to, I was doing like road trip in Italy, and a similar thing. Like I didn't realize how close to Imola I was.
Yeah.
And this was before Imola was back on the circuit. So I was like, I wanted to go see, like, I was like, I could have gone and seen like the Ayrton Senna tributes and everything. Absolutely bummed out. Shame.
Never mind. But and also, quick one with Ford as well, before we move on. They actually, I think this is true. Again,
do not quote him on
that.
Don't quote me on
this. This is a legend. This is a legend story.
There's going to be like a Twitter fact check under it.
I think such a violation, by the way, that addition. Sorry, carry on.
I think Ford engines have won more F1 races than any other engine supplier, because back in the 70s and 80s, everyone who's coming in was like using Ford.
I am going
Ford
to
engines.
call erroneous on this one, because didn't Vincenzo tweet? Oh, was it by manufacturer that he tweeted?
Yeah, I'm talking like engine supplier.
Engine supplier.
Because Ford supplied so many teams
like Ford
back in the 70s and 80s.
Because it wasn't like,
DOH.
Yeah. It wasn't Williams, was Ford. Was it Williams?
Yeah, a lot of teams were Ford engines.
Ford. No, to be fair.
Because when everyone was like, obviously they were at the back, when everyone was jumping in start, like there were about 30 different teams. You just buy a Ford engine off the shelf.
Yeah.
All right, I want to ask, because your T-shirt maybe gives away your affiliation.
These are rags.
How are we feeling going into 2023? What's the not just your opinion, but also what have you found the common sentiment around the Lewis Hamilton fan base looking ahead to 2023?
I think it's a mix of delusion and absolutely petrified. So I think there's a hope that Mercedes will improve the car. It can't be as bad as it was at the start of last year. And obviously there was progress towards the end of last year. So I would hope that we would start with a car which is, I would hope, if it's like 0.2 off Red Bull, I would take that. Maybe like a 10th and a half.
You can get away with that at the start.
You can get away with that at the start, and then you can develop that. And after Red Bull got their really serious punishment, then
it cost them between a quarter and a half a second, according to Horner.
According to Horner,
he's waffling.
Mate, you know what? He's high on his ass, lying. Too busy riding around on his horse. No, I don't.
It's his job to waffle.
Yeah, it is his job to waffle. Can't wait for Drive to Survive. So I think. If that's the truth, then we're looking at a team that probably won't be able to develop as much as they would like to.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is Red Bull will start really strong, and then not only will they not be able to develop the car, but then obviously they're going to have to shift attention to next year as well. But 2021 showed that they can do both pretty well. So I think the mood is that I think everyone knows that Lewis is still a top class driver. I don't think, we're not going to just go off stats of that he didn't win a race. Like he won a race for 15 years in a row. Like, not winning one last season, given the car that he had and, the opportunities where he could have nearly won a race. I guess Zandvoort, if they're, we're looking at Yuki's safety car that kind of messed up the strategy and let Max back into that. Maybe Brazil, if Max, I'm not going to get into that, but I think Mercedes had the pace in Brazil to win. Obviously George did, and Lewis was probably a bit quicker than George that weekend, so it would have been cool to see that. But I think there's just, as long as the car is capable of winning races, Lewis will be capable of winning races. The trust has the team been able to rectify those issues? We've heard a lot of good talk coming out of the team, but we also heard a lot of good talk coming out of the team last year, and it didn't really feel like they had a real hold on it. Some races towards the end we were really good, and then other races it was awful. I mean, the difference between Brazil and Abu Dhabi, for example, kind of it symbolises, how we were. So I'm going to say that, if I'm being sensible, then I think Lewis Hamilton, hopefully will do well. If I'm going to be delusional,
which is why you're here.
Oh my God, if I'm going to be delusional, I think Lewis Hamilton, where's my camera? 2023 champion, okay? Oh. I said it. You said it here first. Quickstop F1, clip this up. I don't know who's my guy over there. Clip this up, okay? 2023. Come on. Lewis Hamilton, F1 champion. It's happening. The return of the king.
We're getting through goes Hamilton.
Oh, look, we're getting through goes Hamilton. Dave, imagine Crofty. He was denied in 2021. But no, 8-time champion of the world.
Sorry. He was robbed in 2021. He was,
but he would never say that. He would never say that. He'd give him like a little soft one. He'll give him a little soft one. Like, do you know what I mean? But, oh, man, I'm excited, man. I'm ready to go. I've healed from 2021. I've healed from 2022. I'm ready to be completely delusional again. I think we're gonna surprise people. Like I said, if we're a 10th and a half off, I think Lewis's superior tyre preservation will allow him to run strategies that will get him in positions to win races, and with a bit of luck, we'll be able to win races. So it will be tough for sure, but I'm just excited to watch some racing again. It feels like this season, although the off-season, like, we're nearly back, but it feels like at the beginning it dragged a little bit. I think because there wasn't as much going on as like after 21.
Yeah, of course.
And to be honest, the whole second half of last season was just kind of like...
It's like a procession. Really, right?
Apart from obviously watching us on the last lap.
Obviously.
The actual racing was just kind of like, it felt like, oh, fucking hell, lads, wrap it up. Because like...
And I think, obviously, it's always going to be that way, especially because 2021 was so action-packed.
Yeah,
for
so
every
crazy.
Single race, something was going on. But
yeah, exactly.
It's interesting you say about that, and you didn't mention Ferrari at all.
What do you mean?
I was kind of expecting that response.
What do you mean? Hey, I will rate Ferrari when they can put 4 wheels on a car with a pit stop. Like, I'll rate Ferrari.
They've got Fred in.
And it takes less than 5 minutes.
Like, do you mean?
Fred's cracking the whip now, so maybe.
Yeah, look, I would hope so. But, look, Ferrari are basically like Arsenal between 2013 and 2016. It's just pure banner. Like, I honestly... What was it, Brazil, when they sent Charles out on like the wrong tyres?
Yeah. That could have been the fact that could have been so many different races that could have been. That says it all.
Do you know how little that swings it down?
It's just, you know what? Ferrari got in their own way so much, and for Ferrari to be for me to consider Ferrari a serious team, they have to act like a serious team. No offense to Ferrari fans, like I love you guys, but
they deserve better. They
deserve so much better, and I think they know they deserve better.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc deserves better. Carlos Sainz deserves better. Carlos Sainz should not having to be running quarterback from his own car.
Literally, man.
Like, on multiple occasions. Hopefully Fred comes in, cleans house, but I need more. I need more. And you know what? The proof is in the pudding. And same with Mercedes. Proof is in the pudding as to whether they can improve the car. And with Ferrari, we're all chasing down Red Bull. Red Bull have been top notch in pretty much every department other than personality and morals. But, unfortunately, you don't need that to win races. So in everything else, in terms of car, strategy, personnel, marketing, whatever, like, they're doing so well, and that's the standard now. Mercedes were the standard. Red Bull are the standard that needs to be reached. And Mercedes had their own strategy issues. Like, I can't imagine the amount of time. I remember Saudi Arabia, Lewis not coming into the pits. We had so many safety car where we could have done things or we didn't do things, and left.
Well, Vowles has gone to Williams now, so he was top strategy.
I don't want to disrespect Val, because I know you're off to Williams, so I don't want to disrespect James. Good luck at your new job, James. Wish you all the best. Hire someone else to do the strategy, please, and good luck.
Right, that sounds like a good time to go to Equal Machinery now. To tail off this podcast, which if you have enjoyed, make sure you like, subscribe, 5-star. All that stuff.
All that jazz, yeah.
Before we get to... Do you want to explain what this this section of the
please do.
the show?
So Equal Machinery is the segment at the end of the pod where we are allocated 3 random drivers either this season or during the space of Formula One time.
Yeah.
And we have to argue that in the exact same machinery, in equal cars, that our driver would win, whether we believe it or not. And at the end,
their prime.
In their prime.
Yeah,
we're doing in their prime now.
In their prime. So we can pick anyone. It could be Senna, Hamilton.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Schumacher, for example.
Yeah, we've been allocated. Do you know who we've been allocated?
I'm awaiting producer Lewis to. Was it on the notes? Oh, it wasn't on the notes. It is on the notes now.
Oh, yeah, he's got it.
I didn't check the notes properly. Oh, okay. Oh. Ooh. Okay. So, Niran, you've got Felipe Massa.
All right, Felipe, baby.
That's a good one.
I have Martin Brundle.
Back in the day.
You've got Daniel Ricciardo.
Peak Daniel Ricciardo, I hope, yeah.
Yeah. So this is prime of all.
Let me know. Actually, also, I don't want to anger the Ricciardo fans again. So I'm going to be respectful.
Not again. We can't.
Not again.
Although, let me just say that there was a lot of, I guess, when I watched it back, I was like looking at what I said, and I was like, what I said kind of came out in a certain way, and I know a lot of people have said about that, and I guess I just want to take this opportunity to apologise to absolutely no one.
I knew that was coming.
Out! He's gone. I called it in Belgium. He was gone 2 races later. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not the bad guy, okay? I'm not the bad guy. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I am sorry. All right. Daniel Ricciardo is a great driver.
We're here for the sport. We're here for the sport. You're about to say why Daniel Ricciardo is clear of Brundle and Massa.
This is what I'm trying to say, right?
It's all in good faith.
It's all in good faith.
At the end of the day,
it was a joke.
Exactly.
And he is fine. He is doing okay. Daniel Ricciardo. The reason why I was getting at Daniel Ricciardo was what we had seen from Ricciardo versus what we were getting was such a disparity.
Yeah.
We're talking about last of the late breakers, Dan Deere on the brakes, making moves that you imagine China 2017, Hungary, is this 2017? Hungary, that victory. In fact, every Ricciardo victory is a banger. There's not one Ricciardo victory where he just kind of Monza was probably his dullest race win because he was pretty much in the front for all the race. Every other race was a race where he had to make mad moves to come through. Obviously, there was a madness in front of him, and normally in the car that was not the fastest car. Monaco 2018, for example, whenever he won Monaco. So for me, you're looking at a driver that extracted the most out of his car in the whole time he was at Red Bull. That was a multiple race winner. If I look at Felipe, do I think he maximized the most out of his Ferrari at his peak? I don't think so. Otherwise, he would have won in 2008. And
this is working perfectly.
This is his answer. This is his answer, by the way.
We usually put a timer on.
Oh, shit!
No, you know what?
That was about a minute as well. That was about a minute.
I was really enjoying it. I was just captivated.
Yeah, you got anything else?
No, that's all.
That's
it's
all.
Better.
Alright, okay, calm. Right, cool. That was his answer then. That's sorted, mate.
That was my answer. Done. Yeah.
Say less. All right.
Well, Felipe Massa.
I've not even been thinking about Felipe at all.
That's what I mean. He's played us here.
Yeah. Because my mind's now blank.
Well, I'm starting your timer now.
All right, fair enough.
Good luck.
Well, Felipe, baby, what a man, what a hero. Should have won 2008 championship if we're being totally sorry about that because I know.
Read the room.
My driver won it. Apologise to me.
If it wasn't for that, what's it called? The fuel lead. You get me? The little cable. Fuel pump. Probably would have won the championship realistically. That was completely out of his control. Yeah. Obviously, I think a lot of his time at Ferrari will be looked at via the after 2009 phase, but he had a crazy injury. Before that, he was really extracting the most out of the car, was taking it to Kimi was taking it to a more experienced teammate, even in Michael Schumacher. Again, probably should have won that 2008 championship at home, put in an unbelievable performance. Even did pretty much all he could do in that final race of the season under immense pressure in Brazil, in his home country. And just generally had a really sick career. Longevity and that as well at the end.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Well, you can't talk of longevity, not talk of Martin Brundle, because not only did he do it on track, but he does it on
screen,
the grid walks as well. Martin Brundle's grid walks are a sight to behold. He's certainly pushed the envelope when it comes to broadcasting and given and sometimes he gets fed down a rabbit hole by his producers.
And Daniel Ricciardo haven't done that, to be fair.
They haven't done that. And
I would like to see a Daniel Ricciardo grid walk.
That would be phenomenal.
Write that down.
We'd all sign up for that. I've still got 30 seconds left. I ran out of time last time. So, but Brundle did race alongside Ayrton Senna back in the day. He was able to take machinery, and he actually, him and Ayrton came up through a similar kind of system through the karts and all that, and it did bits, and Ayrton's considered by many to be the greatest of all time, and the fact that Martin, could outperform Senna on
his day,
on a really good day. That's as much as you're getting from me, I'm afraid. On that,
it was when he was he raced against Ayrton Senna. He was there. He was there.
There's a documentary about them in F2, F3 or something.
I think I remember seeing a clip.
I think Martin Brundle has a really good junior career.
Yeah,
he did.
I think they were actually they ran each other quite close.
Did as well.
So I keep meaning to I saw a clip of it. I was like, I need to watch that, but I couldn't find it anywhere. But
he did well.
Yeah, he did well. He did well considering the source material.
The source material.
But I think we like to go with guessing who you actually think
was the best
prime of the three.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, I felt passion during.
I love Daniel Ricciardo.
Those words were real.
Yeah. Until the McLaren move, he was definitely my second favourite driver.
Yeah.
Then I dumped him. But
Glory Hunter.
No, but you know what? You know what?
Glory Hunter.
You know what? Again, it felt. You know what? It's sad to see the decline of any sportsman, and I'm sure there's people watching this you're watching Hamilton's decline now, and maybe so, but it's to see such a fall off from two solid and very good seasons at Renault, extracting the most
absolutely,
out of that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Seasons, yeah.
And to see it literally go off a cliff. Drivers don't go slow overnight, so I do hope that he can come back to the sport in a car and environment which suits his driving. And I still think he's got a couple of years left in him. If Hulkenberg can come back to F1, then Daniel Ricciardo.
And the marketability of Daniel Ricciardo as well, man. We'll see him back.
If he wants back in, I think he'll get his way back in.
I think he will. I think even just from a marketing point of view, to have him in your car, but his salary, big salary to take a chance on. I think that's the thing. 20 mil a year at McLaren. If you're a team lower down, do you take a risk on that? What if the car doesn't work for him as well? Yeah. So, let's see. But I hope he does come back, because we're going to see this year the sport is going to be a slightly duller place without him.
And definitely comparing primes of those three. I'm all in on Ricciardo for sure.
I am also all in on Daniel Ricciardo. So I think that is a little bit unfair. It's kind of on Felipe as well.
I was going to say, on Felipe.
Felipe is.
Well, we put Felipe,
yeah, I was about to say
most underrated.
In our top 5 most underrated drivers, both of us. And we are backing that up by not choosing him.
Yeah.
But
Ricciardo, when he was, especially, he's the only guy who's been able to go toe to toe with Max in equal machinery in that Red Bull and outperform him.
Yeah, and I would say Felipe didn't really. There's not as many instances for me where Felipe Massa was winning races in a car that shouldn't have been winning races on paper.
Very good, very capable.
Wins have come in.
His peaks were higher. I think for sure.
Who?
Ricciardo,
for sure. But then I guess, someone would argue, look, Felipe Massa came within 10 seconds of winning the FIA.
Well, he did win a champion. He did win it. At that point where he crossed the line, he had won it, and then it kind of changed. So you could argue, look, Ricciardo's never been in a title fight, and Ricciardo, Ricciardo's never won his home race.
He's had some
even come close to it.
Appalling luck in Australia.
It's not as. Maybe it's recency bias, and maybe it's but
you're right. It's not as clear cut.
It's not as clear cut as we've made it, and probably the longevity of Felipe Massa's career has probably helped Ricciardo in that sense because with Felipe, I guess after 2009. What we saw from him obviously wasn't the same as what we saw before that. So Felipe has, people would cut their right arm off to have the career Felipe Massa in Formula One. And, it's not a disrespect, but I think the nature of Ricciardo's wins kind of take him.
And the way Ricciardo came in and just, outperformed Vettel in his first season.
It's wild.
That's the kind of stuff that you don't see very often. Special driver. Hopefully he'll come back. But
well, there you go. Daniel Ricciardo in Equal Machinery. Congratulations, my friend.
Big up.
Congrats.
And Nyasha, mate, thank you so much for coming back on.
No, thanks for having me.
Let everyone know where they can find you and what you're up to. What's going on?
You can find us at Quickstop F1 on all social media. We've taken a little break, and we're back on the 20th-ish, I think. Either the 20th or the 27th, we'll be back. But you can find us and all. Come and have a chat with us if you like F1 content. If you like F1 merch as well, and go to quickstopf1.com and get stuff like this.
Sensational. They'll be back just in time for the start of the new season. Tommo, I'm extremely excited. We're going to have lots of car reveal news next week, so stick around. Livery launches, car launches and livery reveals. There we go.
Said it
the wrong way around. Anyway, car launches will be starting and next week, and I'm gassed. I just want to see... I just want to see the cars. It's just going to get me excited. It's going to get me
time, man. We need the cars. Like all this other stuff. It's all like it's air.
Yeah.
What we need is the
cars right there.
The cars right there. Let me see the liveries. Let me see the drivers as well. It's time to start hearing and seeing these guys. And I'm really excited.
Yeah, very excited, very excited. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. We'll obviously be doing every single show next. Doing live shows, to watch along with every single Grand Prix next season. So stick around for that. The pod is obviously always on here. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. Or wherever you're listening, add our BBM pin if you're watching on BBM. If you're watching on LinkedIn, just why, to be honest with you, don't know, really.
Underrated platform. I'm going to start.
Underrated, but I don't think we're professional enough for LinkedIn.
You know what, actually?
What?
No, the backdrop is, but I don't know about...
Let me tell you now, I went on LinkedIn once. What did I see on LinkedIn? I think it was like a Mercedes post about Lewis Hamilton. And there was people hating on Lewis Hamilton with their work.
Oh my God.
That is crazy.
That is... Like, you're in your 30s, you've got your professional stuff, and
get back to your desk.
And it's like, cry more. Man, I'm like, guys, come on.
Man,
come on.
Hating in the workplace.
Hating with your CV out there.
9 to 5 hating, man.
Like, no,
that is mad. That is mad.
Go feed the kids.
Well, if you are hating on Lewis Hamilton on LinkedIn, then please stop it. But if you're watching us, then thank you very much. And we will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Peace.
Bye.